All right, guys, welcome to the podcast on the Reptile Show Me Network. So we had a guest that was going to come on, and I don't know if she's still going to come on or not. So if she comes on, we'll throw her on. But right now, I got this guest right here, and this is Anton. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a really fun episode, and this is like my right-hand man when it comes with the animals that I have. So we'll explain more, but let's go ahead and roll a sponsorship video right now and pay those bills.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Reptile. Show me Reptile.
All right, boys and girls, like I said, we have Anton right here. So this guy, let's just start with, who are you?
My name is Anton. I just recently got into helping out with animals.
You said you had an animal when you were younger.
Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, we rescued him, but I didn't have confidence to hold him.
And what was it?
It was an 11-foot albino Burmese python.
An 11 foot. And what's the biggest you work with right now?
18 and a half.
18 and a half feet. That's crazy. And she'll get another, I think the record's another 10 feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another 10 feet and 0.1 inches. That's crazy. I guess official record. But yeah, so he doesn't have that much experience, but he has some experience. So when I met this guy, year ago, moved into this building, and he was already there helping with a different part of the building. And I come in with all these exotic animals, and I'm like, here, you want to help me and be an animal educator? And essentially,
absolutely,
that's what you do. You've done birthday parties and lots of different shows with me, and and we're gonna have a lot more stuff in the future too. But yeah, he's never worked with an anaconda or anything. I'm like, here you go, just
Yeah, no.
And then also
one of my favorites
show it to other people. Yeah, Athena's your favorite?
Pretty much, I think one of the favorite. Yeah.
Nice. And Athena's our green female anaconda for everybody that doesn't know. Yeah. And what's your favorite part about working with her?
Fun to hold. She really enjoys the people, and then you get to see people's faces when they get to hold an anaconda, and it's just a different experience.
That's awesome. And then what's your second favorite animal to work with? Never asked you that.
I think maybe one of the Dumerals boas.
A Dumerals boa?
I think that, yeah.
That's awesome. Can you tell us any facts about a Dumerals boa? No.
No.
They're really nice.
Yeah. I mean, they grow slow.
They grow slow. Look at that. Slow growers. That is absolutely true. And they're a ground boa from Madagascar. And we have two huge females. We have one that's like 24 and another that's 26 or 27, right around there. And we also have a male Dumerals. And yeah, so a trio.
7.
Yeah, he's like 7 years old. I traded a male false water cobra for him. And I was like, yeah, and we're growing him up, so he's big enough to breed. So hopefully that'll happen this year.
Yeah.
And then speaking about breeding, are you excited about any other projects that we have going on?
Yeah, we're gonna be working on bull snakes.
Yeah, the bull snakes. Actually, yeah,
And
we have some bull snakes right here in the car. We're taking to a friend's facility, and they're really good at breeding, so they're gonna breed them for us. But it's one's like a blizzard bull snake. It's like a 4 or 5 gene animal. It's all white. It's beautiful, patternless. And then we have another female, and she's another like 4 gene animal. There's like white stripe in it, and patternless, and there's a few other genes. But with bull snakes, they produce like a candy shop. You just get a bunch of different things, you know, instead of all the same thing essentially.
yeah,
So you could have like a white-sided one, and then a patternless one, or an albino one, which is super cool.
definitely excited for it.
And then yesterday we went to a friend's house, and we saw his king cobra.
Yeah,
That was how did you like that?
it was a different experience, and it was massive. It was not a small king cobra.
And so you say massive.
Well,
This king cobra is maybe 6 feet, 6.5 feet. And for everybody who knows, that's not even massive for a king cobra.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a big
For seeing
snake.
the first, like,
Was that your first king cobra?
yeah,
Even from a zoo?
I'm pretty sure.
That's awesome. And he goes, what? You were just on the other side of glass, so
Yeah.
super close. And he's a really awesome cobra. He's owned by our friend Aaron. And yeah, it's a Malaysian Indo hybrid. And yeah, it's a really fun snake. And then we can have some Chinese king cobras at the end of this year come in, so that'll be fun to work with.
Nice.
And then we have my red spitting cobra, and his mate is gonna have some eggs soon. So hopefully we'll have some little baby cobras. That'll be fun. Yeah, lots of stuff, different stuff in the works though. And then we have retics laying eggs, so that's a good project.
Yeah.
We have redfoot tortoise eggs hatch any day. That'll be fun. But yeah, lots of breeding stuff. Now, on the education side of things, what has been your favorite aspect of doing that kind of stuff?
Just the excitement and changing people's minds, because you get some people that come in a group and 1 or 2 of them are way more skittish than the rest, and you start off getting them to maybe pet it, or one of the other in the group handling the snake, and a lot of times the other people come around too, and sometimes they start liking the facility or snakes more than their friends.
Do you remember the parade we did a few weeks ago?
I do.
That was so much fun. That was like what you're explaining. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just,
Yeah.
and you get swarmed too.
You do. Yeah.
Oh, you also get comments too, like ew or yuck, or you know.
Yeah.
And I always tell like everybody, if you scare somebody with a snake, you failed. So
Yeah.
you take that into consideration.
I
And
do. I try to.
Uh-huh.
Seeing people come, I try to make sure that they see it before they get a foot away from it.
yeah, and then get scared or panic. That's awesome. And then we did a birthday party too.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. What'd you like about that?
And the kids really are excited about the snakes, like in a different way than adults are, because they're more acceptive.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they don't have like pre-programmed fears.
Prejudices of it, and they built up over the years.
Have you seen that one, like, it's like a reel, or it's like a video on Facebook. It's not even a reel, but it's like an experiment where they put a bunch of babies around snakes and then see if the babies are scared, you know, and they're not scared at all.
Sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It's insane. But yeah, kids are the future of everything, so,
Yeah,
and they'll be politicians or some teacher or anything, you know. And you just educate, you don't know who you're educating. They could be the next president. And you're like, wow, that president likes reptiles. And then I don't know if you remember, do you remember like that first big snake that you saw when you were a little kid, or somebody else had it, you know, they came to your school?
So I know that I went over to one of my mom's friends' houses, and they had 30 plus snakes. I don't remember the breed, but I remember that they had full like display case and that was early or late 90s, like 99. So I was only like 8.
That's awesome. And so that like imprinted you on your whole entire life. Like you'll never forget that.
No.
And you're that person now to some people.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like I always tell people that help me, I'm like, you're that person with the big snake or the reptile that people remember for the rest of their life. It's crazy. And it doesn't matter like if you're a celebrity or a bum or like a nobody or somebody. If you're going up to somebody with an animal, you're all equal because you're on like the same, playing field essentially. Like it's like owning a dog. Like everybody has to listen to your rules. Like don't pet the head, don't pet the tail. Don't.
Like Mother's Day, we made a woman's year because we showed her and she
explain to the audience that situation.
So at first I was in the kitchen because I work in both sides when I get time, and I cooked their food. There was a whole situation of like the order going awry because the person didn't write the ticket right, and so I had to go out and talk to them. And then after that, we just made it, and I brought them back to the back because I brought up the animals and they were interested, and I gave them a full tour and explained all the anacondas. I explained all the animals that I could. It made, she was just ecstatic with being able to experience it.
So this is somebody that had a negative experience in the real world with, we'll say, service at a restaurant, and then you took them into the back facility part, and then changed their life with the animals, which is insane. Like literally changed their life with the animals, not even like their attitude for the day, like their whole life moving forward.
Yeah.
They might be driving and avoid hitting the snake instead of, running it over. That's crazy. It's so much fun. And then, so speaking of like reptiles, we don't only just have reptiles, we have a lot of fish too.
Yeah.
What do you like about fish?
I mean, I really enjoy watching the knife fish.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially when we make him happy by changing around the tank occasionally. He ecstatically does flips and rolls.
We have a ghost knife fish in a tank. Yeah, he's a little character. I want an electric eel in the future. That'd be amazing. Yeah. I hear those are really cool. And then we breed a lot of different cichlids and endlers guppies and sucker fish. And it's crazy. There's a lot of
very
stuff.
Very peaceful to watch the fish.
Especially when they breed and then you see the little swarms of babies, and each tank has like a hierarchy order, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like there's always a fish in charge. And that's amazing. And then we also have, or plan on getting, other exotic animals too eventually. So you'll learn about mammals, and birds and all that stuff. I can't wait for that. And then we have lots of friends that have those kind of animals too. So we got to go play with them for sure.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Okay, so now that everything that you've learned to this point, does it affect your everyday life or your like everyday thinking? Because you're like a normal person, I consider you, because you're not like me or some people watching the show where it's like a lifestyle, essentially,
I mean, I definitely am going to get a few snakes in the future.
Nice.
And so...
What species do you want?
I mean, it depends on what space I can provide them.
Smart man.
I'd love to have an anaconda at one point.
You should. There's 6 different species, and some don't even get that big.
So,
you already know.
Yeah.
And then how else does it change your life? So you're going to be a reptile owner, essentially.
Yeah, definitely going to be a reptile owner at some point in the future.
And then you've already educated people on these animals.
Yeah, and it's been a blast the whole way. Can't wait to do more.
When I first met him, he's a cat guy. I converted him. Now he's a reptile guy.
I mean, I still love cats. They can stay outside.
They can stay outside. Outside cats are bad.
They're inside outside.
Can we build
cats.
a catio?
Maybe.
You know how invasive cats are? Everybody in the comments knows how invasive cats are.
You're right.
You're a bad boy. See, but we're gonna convert him, and then he's gonna save the birds too. But right now we have We have Daisy, a 17-foot reticulated python in the back too, and we're gonna do a little breeding project with her, which will be fun in the future. Yeah, I can't wait. But she's done so many shows with us, and I guess that's not the biggest snake you've ever handled because we have one bigger. But that's the biggest snake you've ever handled with the public, right? Daisy?
Yeah.
Nice. And how is that?
I mean,
it's a workout, huh?
It is. You definitely feel it, and later in the day, you're way more exhausted.
Yeah.
Because it's like an extra 60 pounds that you're just toting around, if not more. It just feels like body weight of 60 pounds on a person.
That's crazy because you have a construction background too.
Yeah.
So a lot of my cages that I have built were because of this guy, and they could just build just cages, and I'm just like, that's insane. And they're like, oh, you could just put a cage right there, and then just like put this up and a window right there, and then a door, and I'm just like, you could just do that? It's like, you just build it all up, and I'm like, that's amazing. Surround yourself with people smarter than you, and you'll succeed. That's what I learned.
I mean, everybody's good for different tasks. Like,
Teamwork.
You can't expect everybody to be able to do every single task every day.
Teamwork, for sure. All right, speaking of teamwork, I do have the conductor and Steve backstage. I don't know if you guys want to pop out and join the conversation and ask some questions, or stay in the back and chill. But yeah, these are good people too that we have, and the team of people that I have are really good reptile enthusiasts. So,
well, I'll come out and ask a couple of questions real quick. So how did you two meet?
I moved up to the coast and helped opened up a restaurant, and then met him through that. And then now we're business partners because of it.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long have you guys known each other and been working the reptile side?
I guess so, a little over a year, close to a year and a half.
Okay. And now for Antoine, or however you pronounce it, sorry.
No, you're all good.
Antonio.
What all species of reptiles do you work with?
Ooh.
So, reticulated python, Burmese, anaconda, bull snake. Like, I mean, are we talking where I work with with public or with just the facility?
The animals themselves.
Oh.
Okay. So, blue beauty, Taiwanese blue beauty, Vietnamese blue beauty, then Dumerol's boas. There's the tortoise, which is arcata.
Sulcata.
Sulcata. Then there's the yellow or red-footed tortoises. There's all the fish, pleco. And then the water monitors.
We haven't even talked about those yet.
And then vasculus lizard. Rhinoceros iguana, black and white tegu.
And then
iguana, tree iguana, right?
Yeah, at another facility too, we have our venomous animals.
Yeah,
we
I
have
went
Gila monsters, beaded lizards.
I haven't went there though, so.
All right, and you were talking about that you also do a lot of aquatic fish and stuff like that. Do you also do the aquascaping and stuff like that?
Oh.
So you're talking about rearranging the cage?
Just all the plants and stuff. He's not really a plant guy.
I haven't.
That's me though.
Like,
so that's how the fish
yeah.
breed. So I'll throw a bunch of plants in there. I don't really aquascape, but I'll just throw a bunch of plants in there, and they start breeding. And that's the trick with plants. I've learned. I don't know.
So then on your journey so far with Mark, what has been your most memorable moment?
Oh, shit.
I mean, I guess it's the lesson I learned with the anaconda. I was pulling a frog away from her, and I got a little love tap on my wrist when she was readjusting. But I would absolutely still hold her and show her to the public because it was my fault, and I know it was my fault.
Okay. And and then when you Mark first started introducing you to all of the reptiles and the snakes and that, what was your first initial reaction to it?
I was skittish in a way, like I'm still somewhat skittish in some like aspects when I see some of the bigger ones like acting feisty. So, but yeah, it was unexpected. You know, I didn't have too much confidence in being around them.
Okay. And would you say your confidence level had built?
Oh, I absolutely have a lot more.
Oh yeah, he's come into the room before. He's like, your female water monitor knocked off the glass enclosure door and it was out. And I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah, I put it back in and put the door back in and she's all good. I'm like, okay. That's not for an amateur. So I'm like, that's crazy. I did teach you something. And it's about the animal behavior too. So it's not like we're just wrestling and grabbing him by the head. It's you got to get this animal in the enclosure without it biting or being scared
and trying to stress it out.
Yeah. So.
Okay, and then you guys were also talking about the water monitors, and you got into that. Did you want to get into the water monitors a little bit?
Yeah. So we just got the Guru water monitors, and he thought I was crazy, but we drove up to St. Helens, picked up these beautiful animals, and then brought them back. And I'm like a little kid in a candy shop.
Absolutely beautiful, though.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't even know, like this gene, the people, the background on this, these animals, it's so great. So. Yeah, and then I've been teaching him, water monitor, or I guess monitor behavior essentially, because it's a little different than with other lizard species. But yeah, because they're a high energy and high drive lizard that needs a lot of mental stimulation. So we have welding gear, so we just gotta like put the gear on, and they, I'll just like pull it out of the cage, let it, burn some energy and crawl, and there's a technique. So. It's like you got to walk the lizard to your arms because they're so big, you got to just let it burn off energy and
right.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
Well, that's about all I have. So I'm going to go ahead slide back.
Wait. Okay. We were talking about breeding projects. What breeding projects do you have currently?
Currently I'm doing. I'm getting a really bad. Currently I am doing ultra male. I have been purchasing lavender this year. I did a little crown clutch. I mean, crown clutch, the odds isn't the greatest. Neither on the lavender, so I wouldn't say I had the best season of the year, but I really believe that it's going to hopefully pan out for better, especially with the ultimate clutch. So we'll see what comes out on that. And I've already produced some amazing animals that I think. And as far as the other projects for the future, I was with my project, which is the.
That's awesome. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
So
awesome. I like it. Heck yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming out. Peace. Cool. And then another subject I wanted to talk about really quick before we wrap things up, herping. We do a lot of herping.
Yeah.
And now it's officially summer, so
we're going to have to do more.
What do you like did you ever do that before? Did you ever just go out and look for
So when I
animals?
Was younger, absolutely. When I was 12 through 15, me and 4 other friends used to go out, and we had boards on the property that sat for months, and we'd flip them and we'd check for snakes and lizards, and,
Did you know any species or any of them back then?
Just the garter and the red racer strain.
Nice.
That's at least what they were called that I was told. I have no idea if it's their actual name or not.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to take you out more.
Alligator lizards.
Oh my gosh. I found one at the sand dunes. It was over by Horsetail Falls. It was just out there. I'm like, that's so sick. And then I've seen some on the trails, like right on the coastline too out here, and just like we're hiking down literally the cliff of a coastline, and there's an alligator lizard on the trail. I'm like, how cool is that? There's garter snakes on the sand dunes too, and like literally there's beach and garter snake. I'm like, that's insane. How do they? I don't even know how they survive out there. Like, do they catch just ocean fish or something? I have no idea. But there's just garter snakes out in the sand dunes, and I have no idea what they eat. Probably toads.
Little bugs.
I didn't even think about toads or frogs, little Pacific tree frogs.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I'm like, I don't know. It's weird. I live in a sand dune town, right? And
Yeah.
how long have you lived here?
Last 25 years, I think, in
That's
this area.
crazy. I remember we were hiking a few miles up from where we live, and there was a black bear that just crossed the road a few weeks ago. I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. No,
That's
I used to
crazy.
have 20 acres of property and have bears and stuff on it all the time.
That's insane. So are there any, now that you have some reptile experience, are there any dream, like, reptile spots you want to go herping? Like, around the world? It could be worldwide.
To see some reptiles in the wild, or
Yeah?
that'd be.
Which ones do you want to see in the wild?
That's a tough call. There's a couple, but at the same time, I don't know if I'd really want to see them in the wild.
Why?
Because like, it'd be cool to see green mamba and stuff like that in the wild, but I mean.
That would be cool. We should. We have, our friend, I took him to see a green mamba yesterday, and our friend has the green mamba living with their West African gaboon viper female. And it's the coolest thing.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing. The San Diego Zoo as well, what do you call it? Cohabs their green mamba and West African gaboon viper as well, and it's a beautiful relationship. And then if they're next to each other, the color contrast is amazing. But yeah, it's insane. And yeah, I never thought to cohab a green mamba and a gaboon viper, but it's successful and it works. I've seen Mexican beaded lizards and Mexican West Coast rattlesnakes cohabs as well. Another zoo does that, and I thought that was the coolest thing, and I want to do that with ours. That would be amazing. I'd always be like so scared, but I'm like, that would be, I mean, they'd be in the wild like that, and if they like shared burrows or something, or I don't know. It's insane to think about.
Yeah.
And I'm not against cohabbing. I'd cohab my anacondas. They're really social, I found out. So, and they do really well together.
The Burmese and the retics.
Yep. I'll cohab some of those, and I mean those are bigger cages. Those are 20 foot by 10 foot by
You're absolutely right.
15 foot, and lots of places to get away from each other. But yeah, and I never feed in the same cage if I'm cohabbing either. But I know other people do, and I don't know. There's just different ways to do stuff, I guess. I do cohab the redfoot tortoises and the rock iguanas. I have some Grand Cayman hybrids and rhinoceros iguanas that have tortoises that live with them. And then isopods in the substrate too, because they eat all of the messy poop, and they poop a lot, so they eat every day, which is crazy. Is there anything else you want to say to the audience before we log off?
I mean, we need to do another sponsor roll.
Oh yeah, do we have another sponsorship video? I didn't even think about that. I think we have 3. The sponsorship videos get crazy. The graphics are insane. All right. Is there anything you want to say to the audience before we leave?
So I think that if I can step up and respect, because it is all about respecting the animals and caring for them. Anybody can really do it. You just show respect to an animal, show respect to a person, It's so.
And remember, animals have feelings too.
Absolutely do.
All right. We're going to log off with that statement, and I hope you beautiful people have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in, and sorry for all the inconvenience. Till next time.